Okay, let's look at a little bit of practice with using equivalent ratios and ratio tables. And this is a practice page from one of my units, so we'll just do a little bit of practice. In this case, we're starting with 2 cartons is 36 eggs. So for every 2 cartons, I have 36 eggs. And we're writing 3 equivalent ratios for that. So we could go down to the unit rate and say 36 divided by 2 gives me 1 carton of 18 eggs. And now when we want to work on getting another equivalent ratio, we could go ahead and use the unit rate if we want to, the unit ratio, or we could use the ratio that we started with. We could say multiply 2 times 2 and 36 times 2, and we would get 4 to 72, 4 cartons to 72 eggs. If we wanted to go back and check that to see if it actually is right, we could say, okay, if I take my cartons and I multiply it by 4, I get 4. If I take 18 and multiply it by 4, do I get 72? Yeah, I do. And then we could, let's use the 1 to 18 this time. I'm going to multiply by 5 and say now if I've got 18 eggs in every 5 cartons, in every 1 carton, then in 5 cartons, I'm going to have 90 eggs. 90. Now, one thing that is tricky, if students start going 1, 2, 3, 4, which they might go 1 to 18, 2 to 36, 3 to 48, and 4 to 72. I think I did the 48 wrong. Hold on. That should actually be 54. I apologize. I was thinking of 16. Okay, 54. Now, if they start to notice that the table is going in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, they may say, okay, 18 plus 18 is 36 plus 18 plus 18. They may just add as they're going down the line. And that does work if the numbers go in order. But if it went 1, 2, 3, 5, and they had 18, 36, 54, they may have the tendency to throw 72 right here and say, well, I did plus 18, plus 18, plus 18. I just need to do plus 18 again, but we've got a gap here. Our ratio for 4 to something is not there. So they need to be very careful and remember that they are multiplying what is on the left to get to what is on the right. So 1 times 18 is 18. 2 times 18 is 36. 4 times 18 is 72. 5 times 18 is 90. So if you can throw some examples in here that don't go in a row, aren't consecutive, that will help to emphasize that idea. Or if you just pick random ones, right? So over here, if we're going to go from 4 hours, what's equivalent 4 hours to 240 minutes or 240 minutes to 4 hours? What is an equivalent ratio? We could start up here with 2 hours. So if 240 to 4, we would divide by 60 to get to that, or multiply by 60 if we're going to go right to left. 120 to 2 fits in there. And then maybe up here we want to say, okay, what about 8 hours? Well, I multiplied 4 times 2 to get 8. I need to do 240 times 2 to get to the next one, which would be 480, to get to the equivalence, which is 480. And then we can double check that and say, is 480 divided by 68? Is 8 times 60 480? Yes. And then we could even throw the 1 to 60 in here or 60 to 1 in here. They don't necessarily have to go in order. And sometimes if you mix up the order, it makes it harder for them to look for a pattern of adding as they go down the column instead of left to right. Centuries to years. In 6 centuries, we have 600 years. So we could go up here to 1. In 1 century, we have 100 years because 6 times 100 is 600. 1 times 100 is 100. In 3 centuries, 3 times 100 is 300. And we'll go 5. 5 times 100 is 500. So again, not going consecutively will help prevent that idea of just adding as they go down. 4 tickets cost $40. That would mean 6 tickets cost $60 because 4 times 10 is 40. And I honestly do write this times 10 in here, or I write that in here almost every single time so that students will get that reinforced idea that we are multiplying or dividing from left to right. So 3 times 10 is 30, and we could go down to one ticket costs us $10. All right, number 5, how much does Evelyn earn in 1 hour? So here is her chart. If you watched our other intro video, I believe I used the same example. So for 1 hour, she earns $8.50, and we can find that by doing 17 divided by 2, or 34 divided by 4, or 59.50 divided by 7. Any of those will tell us that for 1 hour, she earned $8.50. How much will she then earn in 3 hours? So then we can take that unit rate, if you will, or that ratio of 1 to 850 and multiply by 3 and find that 850 times 3 is 2550. I'm not going to write, I guess I'll write it over here. 2550. The more I do this, the faster I'll get with using this drawing aspect. What is the cost for 1 pound of apples? We have 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 8 pounds. So 8 pounds is $14. I could do 14 divided by 8 and find out that it's $1.75 per pound. Or I could do 8.75 divided by 5, and again, $1.75 a pound. Or 5.25 divided by 3, $1.75 a pound. So it is $1.75. 175. And then what is the cost for 6 pounds? So we could do one of two things. We could say, hey, here we've got 3 pounds. So if we double that, if we multiply both of those by 2, it would give us 1050. That might be a little easier mathematically if we're not using the calculator. Or we could go back to the 1 pound and say, all right, if 1 pound is 175, then 6 pounds is 1050. And then something like this, blank table to create your own ratio table, is a great way to then assess and see if students are getting the idea. If they go ahead and fill something in 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that they're just adding here, you can see that they still aren't getting it. And so this is a great way to check and make sure that they are understanding the idea that it is a multiplicative relationship rather than an additive relationship. If you have any questions, let me know.